I want to dive in on your character work. You've played a lot of notable characters, especially recently as Lucille Flenory on BMF. And
Mhm.
that was such a complex character. People loved her. They fell in love with Lucille. Then we were questioning her sometimes, but overall, you played that role and you sold the story. So we want to know, what is it about the story that first drew you in? And how did you prepare to embody someone like that, her story, her strength, and resilience on screen?
When the audition came to me, I read the material and I just connected immediately. It's some roles that, you read and I go, okay, okay, wait, what? Okay, how do I connect the dots here? And like that. But I read her and I was like, oh, okay. I connect, I feel her, I feel like I know her. And I had to go in to do the work. I didn't know anything about BMF at all. And so I was just going by, my connection to this woman. And I, looked up some pictures of her and things like that and did some research and stuff. And anyway, and so then fast forward to getting the role, I'm playing a real life person that I actually got to meet. And so our first time meeting was on FaceTime. Yeah, or Zoom, something like that. And anyway, and that was amazing, just like seeing her and hearing her voice. And it was like, oh, okay, I just know her. It's like a part, she's so very familiar to me, and she reminds me so much of my mom, and her and my mom look like sisters too. And they're like the same age and had a lot of similar experiences. And so she's very, very familiar. Um, and it was amazing that, I could call her anytime and say, hey, gosh, I'm having a problem with this scene. Like what were you thinking during this time? Or what did you feel? Or I feel so nervous doing this right now. And she would just be so encouraging, like, you got this. Or she would send me Bible verses, like, for certain moments or whatever. And she just believed in me. She was very encouraging from jump. And ever since she's seen the show, and I haven't, well, yes, I started talking to her this season, but she's always been like so blown away by just seeing herself show up on screen. And she recently said to me, she said, I think you have cloned me. You have just cloned me. And that's a huge compliment to me. And also, little Meech, that's his grandmother in real life. And, as soon as the first time I met him on set, he came, he was like, Mom, Mom, he gave me the biggest hug. He was like, oh my God, you so much like my grandma. You're so much like her for real. Like I see you. I can't wait for you to meet her. I can't wait for you. So it's just this instant, just an instant connection. And yeah, it's just been a real honor to play her, really.
I love that story. Thank you. A lot of fans and like people, they're always talking about the resemblance and just you really
Yeah.
embodying this character. So I know that felt really warming and they were supportive of you, of course. So I love that. I absolutely do. We talked through with your team about you seeing acting and music as more than a performance. You see it as
Mm.
tools to tell a story and things that deserve to be heard. So, do you have a moment? I know you've done a lot of projects where in your career, you truly felt like you created that empathy and connection across cultures.
But yeah, I mean, I would say BMF definitely does that. I feel like it's had a huge impact actually, and on the on Black culture, and
Mhm.
and just the community in general. But because one, it's a real story, and um, but I think the beauty of the show is that there's something for everyone. And there are all these conversations that come out of the experiences that they watch from the show. There's so many people that, have these moments with, Charles and Lucille, and the things that we go through and how people are affected by it. It's amazing to me. People like have some serious discussions, especially like about Charles doing his thing and Lucille doing her thing, and why and who's right and who's wrong. And and I think I love that. I think that it creates healing for people, because we need to, it's important to have discussions about this, or like, to look at something and be able to be more objective about it from a distance, and then be able to apply it to your life, and then, to process these kinds of things. Like, even, the whole thing with Charles cheating and stuff, is a huge thing, and it's, affects so many people. And even, as an actor, even and playing that, and just as a woman, period, like, it was very triggering playing, being in those shoes, and and sitting back and watching him do what he doing, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, dang, I don't get to do nothing, he get to do all this stuff, and I'm like, saying, oh man, I was so mad. And and then getting to, be empowered by, the moment that I got to, um approach Mabel with, you sleeping with my husband, or to confront her,
Woman to woman.
yeah. And so anyway, but yeah, I think it has a real a huge effect on the community. And I think, and I think we can watch and learn from everyone else's growth and from everyone's mistakes, you
Right.
know? Yeah,
They really touched on a lot of themes for you guys in the show, and I do agree. It created a lot of dialogue, but positive dialogue. We were able to
yeah,
be, open, share our experiences, and see how you
yeah,
guys got through it. So I
yeah,
really appreciate that, and I agree that is definitely something important for us as a culture to be able to connect.
yeah.
Um, so I did want to touch on International Literacy Day. And Global Diversity Awareness Month. So that's coming up. I know that you're a woman of many talents. You have to do a lot of reading, writing, studying, just getting into your element, especially through storytelling. So, can you talk to us about why do you think that literacy is important, especially right now? Why are themes of reading and storytelling and things like that important to the entertainment industry right now?
I mean, I think storytelling and just what we do as artists in general is a healing medium to me, um, and it's just all the things that we were just talking about, that it creates a platform for understanding, for growth, for entertainment, for healing. It helps us process things. It helps us
Hmm.
just get through things, get through time. There are so many things that storytelling does for us. I'm like, can you imagine a world without entertainment? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, where would we be? We'd be like, oh my God, get me off this planet. Yeah, so it does so many things, and it's inspiring. It's inspiring, it's uplifting, it can help you process grief,
Hmm.
it can help you understand politics better, and all kinds of things that, that's not particularly my world, but all kinds of things. But I can't imagine a world without it.
Yeah, I love that answer. This is random, but do you have a favorite book or a piece of literature or an experience that you would recommend someone tap into? whether they're looking to be in entertainment or they just love reading and writing, or someone like myself who's a writer who may need to, dive into nonfiction or a biography, something new that people are not like so fond of. I
The
can say
one
mine
book.
first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no, I was gonna say I always recommend Atomic Habits. That book like literally changed my life. So that's
Mhm.
my book of choice.
It's called Atomic. What is it? Atomic Habits.
Yes, Atomic
Oh,
Habits.
okay. What's that about?
It's so it just talks about like how we are not programmed to have habits, but you can program your mind to be 1% better every day. So it tells the story of like the Brazilian bike team. They were really terrible, and their coach helped them become better, and they won the Olympics. And it's
Hmm.
just a great story. And it
Hmm.
really helped me like pass exams and things that I felt like I couldn't do. I'm like
Hmm.
one step and 1% at a time. It really put that into perspective.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to look into that book.
Yes.
Um, yeah, the book that comes to mind right now is that this is a book that I keep with me all the time, and it's called A Course in Miracles. And I'm very much into like healing and stuff like that. But it's one of these books that I'll sit and I meditate and I'll, flip to a page and I always seem to find kind of what I need there. And then I meditate on that. Um, and there's so many, I have the worst memory. So, but so it's like uh, there's there's a writer named Florence Scovel Shinn, and she writes these books about. Do you know who I'm talking about? No, you just not. No, you don't
No,
know.
I
Okay, okay,
haven't, but
okay.
I'll look it up.
I wish I could look it up while, but I'm looking at my phone like to look at you, so I can't look it up right now. But I'm
Okay.
trying to remember. But she's her writing is another. Oh, the game of life and how to play it. I think it's called The Game of Life
Mm.
and How to Play It. But she has a whole a book with like five book of her books in it. And and they're all really good. But and that's another book that I used to really go to all the time, and I could just flip to anything and go, oh, okay, that's helpful, like just for me to get through things. Very, very healing and very inspiring new thought for growth and healing. um uh and lots of books like that. Like I'm very much into self-help uh and or spirituality and things like that. um anyway.
I love that. No, I think that's amazing because not that you wouldn't get that, but from your roles, like it's like a polar opposite, like calm and like, you're very mindful and practice mindfulness, and then you get on screen and you gotta be like really hardcore. But I'm so like honored to see how you've built such a diverse body of work in film and theater and things like that. So that is like a true talent, especially God given. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
You
Okay.
know what's funny? It's hilarious to me how, especially this season, like people are saying other things to me, like you are such a trip. You see, oh, I'm so mad at you. I'm like, what did
Yeah.
I do? Wait a minute, what did I do? But and there's such a part of me that connects to Lucille that I get her on such a core level. But like my Michole, separate from Lucille, has all this other stuff going on, but I don't really realize it, because I'm still infusing this thing into that. You know what I'm saying? But so people see me like so differently. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is a superpower. You can like turn it on and off. So that
Yeah.
is great and something to be inspired by.
Yes.
Okay, we're getting down to the last two questions. So looking back, what are some lessons that you've learned about longevity and staying true to your purpose in an industry that's constantly changing?
Ooh, girl. Um, um, it's important to trust your authentic path. and to
Mhm.
really, and that's so hard because I mean it's just here every day. I have to remind myself of this all the time, but to really not to compare your journey to someone else's, because everything that you go through, you're going to use um as an
Mhm.
artist, even in the trying times. Like, prior to getting BMF, I was, I've done a lot. Like, I've been in the business for a very long time, but I've had some valleys, and I was in a deep valley before going getting BMF, and you know, but I'm thankful for that valley because it prepared me for BMF.
Mhm.
And it took me to my sort of a rock bottom for myself at that time, that forced me to shift my focus and do other things. So I was having such a hard time with my acting, even though I was like auditioning more than I'd ever auditioned in my life, but I wasn't booking anything. And so it was like I was turning in on myself and all of this, but I have other gifts. So I just happened to give my friend a massage, and I tune in, intuitively, and she said, Nicole, you have healing hands. You should really do something with this. And so I was like, oh, well, what else am I doing? Like, and so I went out and I got this massage table for $200 that I didn't know how I could afford it. And I ordered it on Amazon. And anyway, and then I just started gifting people, and I started, gifting people to work out my process. And so I do energy work and stuff too. And all of that was part of the process of my healing and my clearing energy to begin to attract more in my life. So the blessing had to come to me to come through me. And and I didn't know that I was clearing my own energy by helping other people. And and that's just what happened. It wasn't even like I had like fully changed my mindset, or I was still just as crazy and insecure as I was. And but I had like cleared this path within myself because I would meditate on people before working on them, and I would just listen. And so I do, I'm certified Reiki 3, but I also am a master in integrated energy therapy, which is like Reiki, but you're working with the angelic realm. And so I would do that more, and just that has really, that energy alone has just changed my life. And anyway, so lo and behold, I had helped a friend, and she had passed this real estate exam. She called me bawling her eyes out after we had done some work and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I'm bawling my eyes out. She's bawling, and my sweetie says, hey babe, like, yeah, did you get a job? I'm like, no, my friend, she passed her real estate exam. He's like, what the really? I said, no, baby, you don't understand. When she gets a blessing, I get a blessing too. And literally an hour later, my manager called me and said I had this job in this independent film. And so that changed the game for me. I was like, okay, there's something to this work for me. So I just went in on it. And I've always been very much in the healing arts and stuff. Um, but it was just time to really like open myself up to it. So, and then like COVID happened and stuff. So I was really, and I had so much time, and I went in on A Course in Miracles and all these things that I was meditating every day, and it just changed my life, and it just prepared me to be able to receive this role. But there are things that are divinely on your path, and there are things that you can manifest, I believe. And this particular one was definitely divinely on my path. It's like everything was so in alignment. And so um so yeah, I don't even remember what the question was and why I'm saying all this, but I know it's for a good reason.
That's yes.
Yeah,
No, that
yeah,
was great. You
yeah,
touched on you didn't like learn a new mindset or change who you are. You more so just tapped into what you already had, and
right,
that became your purpose.
right, exactly. And yeah, that was the question initially. Yeah, and I shifted my focus. And that's the biggest thing that I would say to somebody, because sometimes like we get so you want something so bad that you can choke it, kind of, and it's like, you're dying. And sometimes it's good to just go, okay, let me ease up for a minute, and let me just put my attention on something else. And and then you just create more space around that thing, and you're able to relax around that thing, because especially in this field, it's like still energetic. So even though you might do great on the audition, you might be so desperate and so hungry that it's all of that shows up energetically in your audition. And so it's just like, something about her, I don't know, something's just not right. She's good, but you know what I mean? And so it's good to just ease up. And then when you shift your focus, and sometimes it's good to, even if you have to work a regular job or whatever, it's good sometimes, because then it frees you up not to be so um desperate or so hungry. And whatever you're doing in that other job, you're going to use in your art at some point. So it's like count it all joy, because it's all connected. So
Mhm.
you trust your own, just trust your authentic journey, because you're right where you're supposed to be, no matter where you are. And it won't all, if it's in a challenging place wherever you are, it won't always be this way. Just trust and just keep going. Just keep going.
I love that. That leads me into my last question. You
Okay.
probably already answered it, but that was chef's kiss. So I just wanted to talk through how, like we said, you are a woman of many hats, and you have a lot of outlets that you shared with us today and on screen, even singing. We love hearing your voice. But I wanted to know, do you find that one thing influences the other, like the singing influences your acting, or you being a writer influences your storytelling abilities? And this is more so for someone who is aspiring to be in entertainment or just use their talents to make a living.
Um, yeah, I think they're all connected. Um, I think it depends on where you are in the journey, though. Like, and I'm learning this for myself more, that my uh acting is connected to music, because it mean you're still telling a story in music. Um, and but as a writer, like, I'm more of a songwriter than I am a screenwriter, even though I've written the screenplay, and I've written my solo play um, that is coming soon. But I write out of necessity, that kind of stuff. But music, I write because it just comes out of me. And that's like, more of a passion, and yeah, but like, I wouldn't call myself like a screenplay writer, or but I can do it if I have to. Anyway, um but uh yeah, I guess they definitely inform each other. Storytelling, you still need to be able to tell a story, like I said, as a singer. But there's also a different thing, like for me personally, there's more of a different kind of vulnerability for me as a vocalist than it is for me as an actor. um but it's still probably the experience of it. But for some reason, and this gets better each time, but um uh as a singer, it's it's a little scarier, because it's really me. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? There's not all the I there's nowhere to hide really so much. So it's just like, oh, your ass is just out here, and but even interviews are kind of like that for me, which I'm much better at it now, but it's always been like one of my biggest fears, like, oh my God, how do I show up as, myself, and I don't have the script, and will I say the right thing? Will I know what they're talking about? Will I be able to, all these different things that I feel like I could embarrass myself about, but anyway, at the end of the day, I think it is important to do what scares you most, and to do what drives you most, whatever your passion is, and there will be a connection for you. Um, and you'll find that for yourself. So there's, trust your own authentic journey. Like, um, uh, because we all bring different things to the table, and never be ashamed of whatever those things are, because they make you who you are, and that's what makes you authentic, uh in bringing that unique weird thing. It's like, oh well, I worked in a doctor's office for 10 years, so when I actually am acting, my brain thinks like this. Or I'm a musician and I think about math in this way. I'm so smart with math. Or so I see numbers when I'm writing music, or when I hear music, or when I you have all these things, but it's like your way, and however it comes and however they all comes, to really just trust that for you.
I love that. I absolutely adore that. I'm taking this advice for myself. So we appreciate all of the wisdom. Is there anything you can tell us about what you have coming up without telling us too much, but what can we look forward to from you?
I have yeah, one thing I can share just a little bit about. So I have a recurring role on a Emmy-winning show, that I can't really say what it is yet, but it's coming soon. I think it's gonna probably I thought it was gonna be this year, but I think it might come out early 2026. And then I have a film that I did called Sheepwell, that I'm
Oh,
very excited about. That will soon be doing probably the festival circuits. And Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And that's a lead role, and it's a very layered, fun, kooky, crazy, uh, completely different from Lucille role. Um, but it's very fun. It's produced by She Arts New York, and Kim Casieto is the director who went to AFI. And anyway, so excited to be a part of it. Oh,
yes.
and oh, sorry.
No,
And
please
I
go.
have two singles that are out right now. So there's Miss Tang, that's already on Apple Music and Spotify and all that stuff. And another song called Mother Earth is Dying. That's with Doodlebug from Diggable Planets. He's on Miss Tang also. Doodlebug from Diggable Planets, and with 80 Empire. And my EP will be coming out very soon, next month. Yeah.
Oh, that's soon. That's
Yeah.
sooner than soon.
Yeah.
I support your.
Oh, thank you, love.